Okay, so welcome to today's Building Bridges classes. Today your teachers will be me, Donovan, and Chris. So, what's all that key? The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go over last week's homework. And last week's homework was to use every vocabulary word in a sentence. So Sophia, why don't you use some of these vocabulary words in a sentence?
Electra.
Oh, that's a really good sentence. Do you want to try using a different word as well? Because the homework does say to use every vocabulary word. We don't have enough time for that, but why don't you do another word, one more word?
Trumpet.
Are you trying to use the word dumped?
Yes.
Yeah, so you should add more to your sentence. So maybe you could say I dumped like on uh my brother's door, and it gives us more information. So why don't you try making a sentence again and maybe give us a little more description.
I am dumped floor.
Yeah, that's a good sentence. So it gives us a little more description of what you're doing. So thank you, Sophia. Jing, can you use some of these vocabulary words in a sentence? How about you use two of them in a sentence, or use make a sentence using two of them, and also make sure to turn on your camera so that we know you're here. Jing, are you here? Okay, if they're not here yet, then we'll just move on. Rachel, why don't you use um two of these vocabulary words and make sentences out of them?
Um, the teacher, the pirate, touched the hat brim.
Yeah, that's a really good sentence. Um, so it gives us a lot of descriptions, and it gives us both like a subject, so someone who's doing it, and it uses the vocabulary word really well. So really good job. Can you try doing one more word from the vocabulary?
Um, he. Um, my mommy hid a big water bottle.
Yeah, that's also a really good sentence. Really good job, Rachel. Coco, why don't you use one of the vocabulary words in a sentence?
We are looking for the treasure.
Yeah, really good job. Can you do one more?
Sorry, I don't know.
Oh, that's okay. Here, why don't I try to help you out? So, if a substitute is something that takes place of another thing, maybe if you have a teacher, you could have a substitute teacher, right? So why don't you try making a sentence using the word substitute teacher instead of just substitute? And if you still don't know, you can always just let me know and I can try to help you out more.
No, I can't.
Okay, so let's say the word you want to use is substitute and you use substitute teacher. So you know what a teacher is and you can see the definition of substitute. So you know what a substitute teacher is. So that's a subject. So you can say the substitute teacher and then you have to give it a verb in order for it to be a sentence. So a verb is an action, right? So you could say the substitute teacher uh taught us very well today, or something like that. So next time you don't know how to use a word, you should find out whether it's a subject or a verb and then add on to it, okay? But really good job this week. Hardy, can you use one of these words in a sentence? And can you also turn on your camera?
What?
Can you use one of these words and make a sentence out of them? Hardy, are you okay? Well, why don't we move on for now, and maybe we'll come back to you. Marin, can you use one of these vocabulary words in a sentence?
Mm, I have many treasure.
Yeah, good job. Why don't you try using one more of these words in a sentence?
Mm, my book is very valuable.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
My book is very
I don't know if that's uh one of the vocabulary words for this week. Here, why don't you try if you're talking about books, books can be heavy. So why don't you use the word heave or lug in a sentence and connect it to books?
mm, I hid my book. I hid my book to the living room.
Yeah, that's a really good sentence. Good job. So a lot of you guys are having trouble with words that are more unfamiliar to you guys. So next time, just try to think about these words in advance before class starts, okay? Also, before I move on, Theodore, are you here? Can you turn on your camera?
Yes.
Um, can you turn on your camera so we know you're here? And also, why don't you make a sentence using one of these vocabulary words?
Okay. Um. And what is is this sent this uh你是这些单词里面随便挑一个吗？
If you're having a little trouble, you can let me know. Why don't you think about it a little bit? I'll go to someone else and I'll come back to you, okay? Hardy, now that you're back, why don't you use one of these vocabulary words in a sentence?
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead and use one of the vocabulary words in a sentence. So an example could be the brim of his hat was very fancy. So that's using brim. Why don't you try using one of the words in a sentence now? 你听你听不懂我在问你什么 Is that right? You can't understand what I'm asking you? My Chinese is not the best, Chris. Do you know if he can't
Yeah.
understand me what I'm saying or
So 我们可以随便挑一个字，然后用那个字要造句，因为上周的书里就用了好多这些字，所以挑一个，然后呢试着做成一个句子。
Yeah, good job. That's a good sentence. So good job. And thank you for letting me know if you can't understand what I'm saying. I don't have the best Chinese here, but if you guys ever have trouble understanding what we're saying, Chris can always let you guys know. Theodore, now that you've had a little more time to think, can you use one of these vocabulary words in a sentence? And can you also turn on your camera?
I found a treasure.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
Found a treasure.
You found a treasure? Yeah, that's a really good sentence. Just treasure is pronounced treasure like I'm saying it right now. So why don't you try saying it one more time? I found a treasure, or I found treasure. So Theodore, why don't you try saying the sentence one more time? I found a treasure.
Yes, I find a treasure.
Yeah, good job. So now we're gonna move on. Really good job on last week's homework.
So this week we'll be talking about rooms in your house. So for the conversation, we'll be asking you where in your house or apartment do you spend the most time? For example, for me, I probably spend most time in my bedroom, lying on my bed. So where do you spend the most of your time when you're at home? Sophia, can you please answer this question? Sophia?
I spend in the living room.
Okay, yeah, great answer. So you spend a lot of your time in the living room. Rachel, how about you? Where do you spend the most time?
I spend the most time is my bedroom because the night time is very long. We also on the bed.
That's true. You do spend a lot of time just sleeping at night. Marin, how about you? Where do you spend the most time?
I spend the most time in the in my my in my living room.
Okay, that's nice. What do you usually do in your living room?
I do my homework.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Thank you for answering. Hardy, how about you? Where do you spend the most time in your house? Hardy?
In the living room.
Okay, what do you do in your living room?
Uh, play game.
Okay, that's great. Good answer. Coco, where do you spend the most time?
I most time in my book room because I read book. I read books often.
Oh, okay. You have an entire room just like full of books? Or is it like also like a place where you study?
朝花夕拾.
Oh, okay. Theodore, where do you spend the most time?
I spend the most time in my bedroom. I doing my homework in my bedroom.
Okay, great. I also do my homework in my bedroom. Jing, where do you spend most of your time when you're at home? So maybe Jing, maybe you spend a lot of time in the kitchen if you're like cooking a lot, or like some people said they spend a lot of time in your bedroom in their bedroom. Where do you spend the most time? Jing, are you there? Okay, it's all right if you cannot answer right now. Maybe after we talk about the rooms in a house, you can answer then. Let's move on for now.
Okay, so for today's class, we're going to be learning about rooms in a house. So, like you guys just did, you guys named the room you guys spend the most time in, but obviously there are lots of other rooms in your house or your apartment, and so that's what we're going to learn about today. So the first room we're going to talk about is the living room. So a living room is used to relax and hang out with friends and family. And usually inside of a living room, there's a TV, a couch, books, tables, chairs, lamps, and rugs. And so some of you guys earlier said that you spend the most time in your living room. So an example of using the word living room in a sentence would be, I like to watch football with my friends in the living room. So now that you guys know a little about a living room, Sophia, why don't you use one of the words, table, book, or TV in a sentence?
I found a book in the living room.
Yeah, really good job. Rachel, why don't you try using book or TV in a sentence? Or I'm sorry, why don't you try using table or TV in a sentence? One of the ones that hasn't already been done.
In the living room, it has a big table to watch the TV.
Yeah, really good job. And it's really good how you were able to use both of these words in the sentence. So that's really good. And Coco, why don't you use one of these words in a sentence?
I often watch TV in the living room.
Yeah, that's really good. Good job. Oh wait, does it not have a? Oh, okay. Okay, we're going to move on for now. But some of the rooms have little games where you can say like what's in the room.
So the next room we'll be talking about is the dining room. So, as the name suggests, the dining room is where you eat food and you use the room to eat food. So, most of the time in a lot of like formal or like big dining rooms, people only eat there a few times a year. And it's generally used for like these big family gatherings, like so when your like uncles or aunts and just like extended family comes for maybe like a holiday, or like a lot of friends come over, you'll use the dining room. But even though it says like people only eat there a few times a year, for a lot of families, a dining room is also just like the same as just a normal place to eat food. And so like the place where you eat food in the morning or at night with your family, that could also just be a dining room as well. In terms of like having this big dining hall, I guess, maybe like the sentence says, I have a big Thanksgiving feast in my dining room. So I guess now we'll ask you to make a sentence about the dining room. Maybe you can talk about when you use it or what you'll like eat at the dining room. Uh, Maren, how about you start us off?
I eat the ice cream in the dining room.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Jing, can you make a sentence about the dining room? Jing? I guess they're not here right now. How about Hardy? Can you make a sentence about your dining room?
I'm eating dinner in the dining room.
Okay, yeah, great. A lot of families will eat dinner in the dining room. How about Theodore? Can you also make a sentence about the dining room?
I eating the breakfast in the dining room.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Um, that was great. I guess we can move on. So now we have a little game to play, and so we'll try to name a few of these objects in the dining room. So let's first like just talk about the objects that have arrows pointing to them. I'll just go down the list and see if you can like name any of these objects. If you can't, I guess that's fine, and we can move on. But Sophia, do you know what the names of these objects are that the arrows are pointing to?
There is a couch, table, tap, lamp.
Yes. So there is a couch. Is there a pointer on this? I don't.
Maybe you can just annotate.
Anyway. Oh, right. Uh, so there's like a little couch here. That's great. And this here, like this wooden table, is obviously a table. And I guess this light here, it's kind of like a lamp, but it's just like on the wall. Uh, Rachel, can you tell us, like, name any other objects in the room?
I can see a big painted on the wall.
Yep, here's a painting. Do you see any others?
And I can see a lot three doors.
Yes, here are the doors. In general, like these things aren't just like, they're not really important parts of dining room, but they're just in this one. Uh, Coco, do you see anything Any of these objects that you can name?
A leg. Sorry. A light.
Yeah, so there's these lights here, and this is like a bit of a
And
special light. I think we can call this like a chandelier. It's like a big light that's hanging from the ceiling. But like, yeah, it's also just a no, it's also a light.
a table.
Yep, here's the table. I guess we're running out of time,
Uh,
but so oh yep, continue.
Eight chair.
Yeah, here is the chair.
And hundred.
Yeah. So I think that's what it's a little bit blurry, but I think this arrow is pointing at like 餐具 or like just like utensils, like maybe a knife or a fork. But yeah, great. So I think we got all of them.
So now we're going to talk about a bathroom. So, a bathroom is where people go to take care of their hygiene. So that can be anything from taking a shower or going to the toilet. Or when you wake up and you go and brush your teeth, you probably brush your teeth in your bathroom, or at least I hope you do. So, some things that are inside a bathroom is a toilet, a sink, shampoo if you have a shower inside your bathroom, obviously a shower. Some people have bathtubs in their bathrooms, and a lot of the times people will also have a mirror in their bathroom. So an example of using the word bathroom in a sentence is your bathroom is very clean, which is a good thing for a bathroom to be. So Sophia, why don't you use one of the words above, so toilet, sink, shampoo, shower, bathtub, mirror, or the word bathroom in a sentence.
In the bathroom, I found a mirror.
Yeah, really good job. Rachel, why don't you try using one of these words in a sentence?
We shower in the bathroom.
Yeah, good job. Coco, now you go and try using one of these words in a sentence.
Um. 道具吗？
I'm sorry, what'd you say? So why don't I give you an example if you're having a little trouble? An example could be, when I went to his bathroom, he had a very nice sink. So that could be an example of a sentence using the word sink. So why don't you try now?
The bathroom have the mirror, shower, and the toilet.
Yeah, really good job. So that's a great sentence. It describes the bathroom really well. And it's an easy way to come up with a sentence for a bathroom. So really good job. Hardy, why don't you try and use one of the words above in a sentence?
I'm in the bathroom. Uh, bath.
I'm sorry, can you say that just one more time?
I'm in the bathroom. Bath.
Yeah, really good job. So all of you guys did really good with coming up with a sentence. But next time, maybe try using more than one of the words above in the sentence or make the sentence more descriptive. So now, we're going to try to name things that are in this bathroom. So Marin, can you name something that's in this bathroom?
I see a sink, a mirror.
Yeah, so here's the sink and here's a mirror. Do you see anything else? And it's okay if you don't. I can always ask someone else. Okay, well, really good job. Theodore, why don't you try and tell me, what are some of the things in this bathroom?
Two lamp.
Yeah, there are two lamps, uh, right here and right here. Is there anything else? Yeah, so both of you guys did really good. We're running out of time here, so we're just going to move on for now. But some other things in this bathroom. So there was the shower, there's the toilet, there's a mirror, and that's the sink.
So the next room we'll be talking about is the kitchen. So a kitchen is used to cook and store food. So some things that are found in the kitchen include the stove. Yeah, so the stove is what you like actually do most of the cooking on. It's like the fire. You have the oven. Then you have a refrigerator, usually a pantry. The pantry is like usually a place where you store the food. You have a bunch of pots and pans to cook in, and like this like little tabletop, like this, that is like a counter. And also there's sometimes people have microwaves in their kitchen. So for example, a sentence that you can make using a kitchen is, I went to the kitchen to get a snack. So I think for this one, we can either make a sentence about a kitchen. Let's try to describe a kitchen. So maybe think about what a kitchen looks like, what your kitchen looks like, or like what you do in a kitchen. So, Theodore, can you make a sentence about a kitchen?
I went to the kitchen to get toast and pans.
Yeah. So the that's great that you also used the word that we were talked about before. They're called pots and pans, and that's what you do cooking in. Great. Marin, can you also make a sentence about a kitchen?
I went to the kitchen to get ice cream.
Okay, yeah, great. Rachel, can you make a sentence describing your kitchen, like what it looks like, or what you have in it?
My mommy used the oven to make the.
Wait, sorry, I think you accidentally muted yourself halfway through the sentence. Can you please say that again?
In the kitchen, mother used the oven to make the food.
Okay, yeah, great. So it was great that you used another word, which was oven. Coco, can you try to describe a kitchen?
Many food is in the
Refrigerator.
refrigerator.
Yeah, okay, great. Lots of food is in the refrigerator. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense because in the kitchen's refrigerator is where you store a lot of the food. Um, so the word here is refrigerator, but in America and a lot of places, people often just say fridge for short instead of saying the entire word refrigerator. So if you want, you can also say fridge, I guess. But either way is correct. Hardy, can you make a sentence about a kitchen or describing your kitchen?
Uh, I'm in the kitchen, cook the food.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cooking food in the kitchen is pretty common as well. Let's move on to the next room.
So now we're gonna be talking about the bedroom. So the bedroom is also where a lot of you guys said you spend your most of the time, and I also spend a lot of time in my bedroom because obviously I sleep there and sometimes I do work in there. So a bedroom, like I was saying, is mostly used for personal use. So it can be where you sleep or it can be where you work. And a lot of the times people's bathrooms are connected to their bedrooms. So there's also something called a master bedroom, which is usually bigger than a normal bedroom, and it's typically for the people who own the house, so like your parents. Because your parents share a bed, their bed is bigger, so the room for the bed is bigger. So usually in the bedroom, there's a bed, a nightstand, which is kind of just like a table right next to the bed, a drawer, a desk, a fan, and a lamp. And so master bedrooms sometimes have a TV, and normal bedrooms normally don't. So an example of a sentence using the word bedroom is I like to sleep on my bed in my bedroom. So Sophia, why don't you try using one of the words drawer, bed, desk, or you can use the word bedroom and make a sentence.
I like to read a book in my bedroom.
Yeah, good job. Rachel, why don't you try making a sentence?
In the uh, bedroom, it has a desk.
Yeah, good job. And we're running out of time a little, so wait, sorry. I'm just gonna point out a couple of things in this bedroom before we move on. So obviously, this is the bed of the bedroom. This would be a lamp, and then this would be a nightstand or a desk. And obviously there's a painting up here. So those are just some of the things in the bedroom.
So the next room we'll talk about is the garage. The garage is usually used to store cars and anything that's not in the house. So like you'll often see a lot of like spare items or like maybe like a lawnmower or like other things stored in the garage as well. But its main purpose is for you to put your car in there. So most houses, or like most garages are connected to the house. They're right beside it, like in the picture. So usually in the garage, there's a few things. So like there's cars, there's a bunch of tools. So like if you maybe you don't want to store tools in the house, so you'll put them in the garage. Tools as in like maybe like a hammer or like a lawnmower, like I said before, or maybe like a bunch of screwdrivers, like those type of things. Maybe you could store in the garage. And if there's shoes or shoe boxes that you don't usually use that often, or like you just want to store, you also can put like shoes in the garage. So an example sentence is I have two cars parked in my garage. So now let's try to make some sentences about a garage. Maybe tell us what you're storing in the garage, or yeah. Uh, Theodore, uh, can you please start?
There are many cars in his guard.
Can you say garage or garage?
Garage.
Yes, great. Jing, are you with us? Can you make a sentence about the garage? Okay. Sophia, can you please make a sentence about your garage?
I forgot a key in the garage.
Oh, so she got a key. She found the key to the garage, or she has a key to the garage?
Forgot.
It's okay. That's all right. So either would be fine. Maybe someone can find the key in the garage. Marin, can you please tell us what things are in a garage?
Mm, the coats.
Yeah, sometimes people can put coats.
I have coats in my garage.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Thank you for that. So just looking at this picture, we can see a lot of things in the garage. So like obviously there's like this car here, and then there's a shelf in the back with just like maybe there's like paint. I think I see some paint in the down the bottom. There's some books or like some sprays that they don't really use that often. They can put in the garage.
So, the place where I am right now is my study or my office, and a lot of the times your parents will probably have one too. So your study or your office is just a place where people work. So sometimes people will work in their bedrooms, and sometimes people have a dedicated space to do their work. So that would be a study or an office. So usually, inside an office is things that you would that you would need to do your work. So you would have a desk, you'd have a pencil, a pen, computer, books, and really anything else you need. So like for me, I have a calculator, and I also have some like binders and notebooks. So an example of using the word office in a sentence is my dad likes to work in his office a lot. Uh, so, oh, sorry. Hardy, why don't you use one of the words of something that's found in the office or the word office in a sentence?
I'm in study office, reading book.
Yeah, that's a really good sentence. Now, Coco, why don't you try to make a sentence using one of these words?
There are many books in my study office, and I do my homework in my study office.
Yeah, really good job. So one thing to notice is that study and office mean the same thing. So you don't have to say both of them. So you could say there are lots of books in my study, or you could say there are a lot of books in my office, but you don't have to say both of them. So next time you use these in a word, you don't have to say both.
In my study,
Yeah, good job. Theodore, why don't you use one of these words in a sentence?
Um, my mother's office has a computer.
Yeah, really good job. Um, so now we have a picture of office or a study. And Sophia, why don't you name some things that are in this office?
There is a flower.
Yeah, so in this office, there are lots of plants or flowers. Um, Rachel, why don't you name something that's in this office?
I can find the chairs, the computer, and table.
Yeah, really good job. So some things in this office are obviously the computer, the chair, the desk, There are paintings on the wall.
So the next room we'll talk about is the basement. So a basement is like a place where multiple rooms combine into one. So there's not like a lot of walls separating things. And people like to hang out in basements with each other. Normally, it has a few like small luxury items or just like things that maybe you want to keep, but like don't want to put it in like your room. So there's like maybe a home bar that holds food or drinks and also has places to sit or relax. There's couches, maybe like a fireplace. Um, like the fireplace could maybe in winter if it's cold, you can light it up. And an example of a sentence you could use the word basement in is I go to my basement to hang out with my friends after school. So usually a basement is the lowest, like the lowest floor or level in your house. I guess sometimes it's like below ground level, but I don't think that's that common. Basements are like very common in the United States. Most houses have a basement. Um, but in China, I think not a lot of houses have basements because there's like a lot of apartments as well. So a question for you to answer is, where do you hang out with your friends? Like, where do you go with your friends to have fun? Hardy, can you please start?
I'm in the basement.
Oh,
I'm in the basement. 找东西。
oh, so you went to look for things in the basement.
Oh yes,
Can you please repeat what I said or like a sentence like in a similar way?
I'm in the basement looking for things.
Yeah, great. So Sophia, where do you hang out with friends? Where do you go with your friends?
I like hang out with my friends in the basement.
Yeah, okay, great. So you like to go to the basement with your friends. Cool. So in this picture here, there's a lot of things. There's like a home bar that we talk about with like some drinks back there. There's a couch and a fireplace. And as you can see, there's not a lot of walls separating things, which is pretty typical of a basement.
So the next room we have, or this can also be like a floor of your house, is the attic. So an attic is usually full of items necessary for the house. And an attic, a lot of the times, is used to store items that aren't being used. So maybe like an old instrument that you used to play or something like that. So an attic can also be used as a space for other rooms. So maybe if you sleep in your attic, then the attic would also be your bedroom. So usually in the attic, there's some insulation, some air conditioning, and some heating. So an example of using the word air conditioning in a sentence is the air conditioning makes the house feel cold. Um, sorry. Coco, why don't you use one of these words down below to make a sentence?
In the active have the my toy. I can with my friend go to play.
Yeah, good job. Hardy, why don't you try using one of these words to make a sentence?
I'm in the attic.
Do you have anything else you want to add on to the sentence? What are you doing in the attic?
I'm in the attic. Fixing.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
I'm in the attic. Hersing.
Yeah, good job. So we're gonna move on because we don't have much time left. So we should probably go pretty fast.
So the next slide isn't really a room, but it's a closet. A closet is where you store clothes or like bags or maybe shoes. Usually most bedrooms have a closet for you to store clothes in. Okay, so in the closet, there's, like we said before, there's clothes, bags, or like jewelry, or like maybe watches. An example of the word closet is I cannot find anything good to wear in my closet. Apart from these these types of closets in the picture, there's also like walk-in closets where an entire room is made to be a closet. Um, so let's make a sentence about a closet, or maybe talk about what things you have in your closet. Coco, can you please make a sentence about the closet?
The closet has many clothes and bags, shoes.
Okay, yeah, great. Theodore, can you also make a sentence about a closet?
I have many clothes in my closet.
Yeah, I guess most people only have like clothes in their closet. But we can move on to the next room.
Um, there should be a slide before this.
There's slides after it.
Oh, okay. So this is a backyard. Some of the things in the backyard is a grill, so it's like a place you can cook. There's grass, obviously, and not all backyards have grass. Some of them might have like turf. Plants. There's a fireplace, just like the basement, except this one is probably a little bigger. There are trees, and those are just some of the things in a backyard. So a backyard is normally a place for children to play and for families to hold events. So maybe if you are having a big party, you'll hold it in your backyard. So usually in the backyard, there's a garden, grill, plants, trees, grass, and maybe your pool. And so an example of a sentence using the word backyard is our backyard is very messy. And since we're running out of time and you guys have been working very hard today, we're just going to move on for now. I'll just do this slide too. This is a game room, so like Hardy was saying earlier, he likes to play a lot of games in his living room, but some people have a room that's only to play games. So in this game room, there's a TV, a couch, a foosball table, some chairs, and an air hockey table. So the game room is used as a playroom for younger children, or it can be a room with different forms of entertainment for people in the house. So some things that can be found in the game room is video games, an air hockey table, a TV, board games, and some reclining chairs, which not a lot of people have, but they are something that I guess better off people have. An example of the word game room in a sentence is I can play in the game room with my friends. So yeah, that's all the rooms that we're going to learn about for today.
I guess we can play one round of this game where someone just like maybe describes some of the things in a room and we can guess what the room actually is. So does anyone want to describe a room? Just like maybe say what objects are in it or what they do in it. And we'll all guess what room you're talking about. So if you want to maybe describe a room, then raise your hand. Otherwise, I can also do it. Okay, that's all right. I guess I will describe some of the objects in a room, and you guys just try to guess what it is. So if you know, just shout it out. So in this room, I often watch television. There are couches in this room, and there is a TV. And sometimes my entire family will go to this room, and we'll sit there together to, I don't know, maybe watch a movie. I remember for a lot of you, it was the room that you spend the most time in. Sophia, what do you think the room is?
In the living room.
Yes, I was thinking of the living room. That's great. So I think we should just move on to the homework because we're running out of time. Yeah.
So our homework for this week is what is your favorite room? So our conversation earlier was what was the room you spend the most time with, but that might not be your favorite room. So the room I spend the most time with is in my office in my study, but it's not my favorite room because a lot of the times I'm just doing work there. So I want you guys to think about what's your favorite room, and then maybe I want you to tell me why it's your favorite room and what you do in your favorite room. Other than that, thank you everyone for working so hard today. I had a good time teaching you guys, and I hope you guys learned a lot. I'm sorry that we took too long with the lesson today, so we didn't get to play much of the game. But thank you everyone for coming. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, teacher.
Thank you for coming.